did. I let her know that. I said, I'm headed out of, I'll respond promptly upon my and but back, she had another message like, "Are you still interested? Do you have any feedback? Can we talk?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm interested." So, um, it was crazy. So, yeah, I'm gonna respond to her tomorrow. I just had to get my mind right before I go into it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So
Can you tell them
we'll
again what
see.
kind of locations it is? What kind of locations you're getting?
Oh, it's the Illinois Tollway. So like if anybody's familiar, like if you're traveling and stop at a travel plaza, the ones that go over the interstate that are on top of it, that you just ride up the ramp and go up, and they have all like Auntie Annie's, McDonald's, Subway, all of those. So it's one of those. So they have a stretch of 4 between
Yeah,
here
congratulations.
and thank you. They have about 4 that go up this interstate. So I'm just gonna do the one, and of course, hopefully it goes well, and I can get another one. But I couldn't believe that when I got back, even though I told her the date that I got back. I said I get back on Friday, so I should reach out to you early the following week. They had a message waiting on me, like, please give us feedback. I hope that you're interested still. I'm like, yeah, lady, I'm coming.
Big
I'm
dog.
coming.
Yes, indeed. Not a poodle over here, baby. Big dog, Great Dane. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so
Big
so so my
contract.
my, my my biggest takeaway was crazy because when I did approach them, I definitely wanted to position myself, and I knew that they were kind of big time, so I didn't want to sound like I wasn't big time, even though I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I just approached them with, I'd like to speak to someone in procurement, and that's where they got me. I also made sure that I led with my experience and my intro email, and definitely got a beautifully designed flyer. So with those things, I think that I kind of positioned it like I didn't come to play with y'all,
The energy,
made myself look a
energy
lot
from the
better than I
beginning was
actually
big.
was, because I was 100% like in the, I'm like green, but yeah, they were cool.
I'm so proud of you. I know everybody on this call is proud of you. And for those that may not be as familiar with like the toll system, you'll also see this like in the Florida Turnpike, where they'll have like little spots where you can kind of shop and get some gas and go into a building area. So this is amazing. This is like extremely high traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about like this is where the traffic goes when the traffic is trafficking. So I'm extremely proud of you.
Yeah, a lot of the semi trucks, the
Yes.
18 wheelers, they're all stopping here, sleeping overnight. This is where
Wow.
they. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a real huge money making opportunity. You have 4 of these locations.
No, they have 4. They own 4. They're all privately owned. So
Okay,
this person has 4. So I'm starting with the one, but clearly, right.
you're gonna go
Once
move.
we
You're
get
gonna
in,
move to
once
4.
you're in, you're in. Yeah.
Right, right. So this is something that's gonna help you scale. Have you thought about any projection numbers? Thinking about like just typical where you think the traffic may end up.
I haven't the famous, and that's why I clocked out for vacation, and I said, okay, I have to get this down so I can have a response for her, and realistically look at my numbers. And so that's kind of like my project for today and tomorrow morning, to sit down and number crunch a little bit, just so I can make sure it makes sense.
I cannot tell you how much I know I've said it like 4 times, but I am so proud of you. I think it's having that faith piece and the shoot big is such an important piece. A lot of times,
Thanks.
I'm very cautious about telling people to go big because sometimes the opportunity is too large, or sometimes we're not ready for the opportunity. I've seen that, but I think sometimes when the person is really ready, they'll shoot the shot, and you shot the shot and literally turned your back, walked away, and it's like nothing but net. So I'm so impressed with you. I encourage everybody on this call to do your one-on-ones. Let's dream big together. I mean, it's such an important thing. This I might not even save this call, but this is just going to be a team us kind of thing. The one-on-ones are so important. Even before we made it mandatory, Ava, you were coming to the one-on-ones. You were like, look, I'm coming every week, and look, we're gonna get this thing knocked out. We talked several times. We even emailed. I don't know if I might have texted you. I might have been like, look, let's get this deal done, because I know you had to go on vacation and get that knocked out the way. And so
Mm-hmm.
another piece of what we were able to do, guys, is we integrated AI into what we did. So we used ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
craft the actual proposal. So for a lot of you guys that might be saying, okay, well, how do I craft a proposal? We have this phenomenal tool, artificial intelligence, where we can go in and literally put in the correct prompts to be able to bring up that proposal. So we were able to copy that proposal. I think the first time I sent it, it didn't show up right. We had to send it in a file, and then we sent the file, and it was like, okay, cool. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna slap name on this thing and make it work.
Yeah.
And a couple tweaks here and there. Um, do you think that AI was pivotal in your success, or do you think it was more so the other things, or a combination of all those?
I, another thing I think that uh, I didn't look first,
Oh, your phone's breaking up.
you know.
Say again, your phone.
Oh, hold on. I No, I just told her, I'll be back in a couple of weeks, right? And then I said my associates, including myself, will sit down in a couple of weeks after vacation. And so I think when you position yourself as big, I didn't say I'm the owner. I said, I'll contact the partners. And that's what I said when I asked for procurement. I didn't say, I never not once said property manager or owner. I said I want to speak to the person in charge of procurement. And that's when she came in, and I told her, I didn't even tell her I said I represent Iconic Gourmet Popcorn. And that's kind of how I came. Like the flyer, I told my cousin did it. And it's beautiful, it's a beautiful flyer. She did it. And my verbiage, I make sure that my verbiage does not sound independent. My verbiage really does sound like I'm somebody important. And that's just across the board. It's always going to sound like that because they don't know who they're talking to. They could be talking to somebody from Pepsi that got an offshoot brand. They don't know who they're talking to, right? And so I never appear before my company. I let all of my flyers, then they'll meet me somewhere down the line. But when I approach these big, large, I never appear.
I love that. I love the fact
I have a virtual assistant appear. Like if they want to call, I have a virtual assistant appear. I'll pay them to do it, but they'll never talk to me. Not because I don't have time, but because I don't want them to know it's me. Because if they see all of me, they're gonna be like, call us back later.
Right. So, and
but if they see my stuff first, they see my stuff first, that they'll know who they're talking to.
And you know what I've noticed too, after you get everything set up and you get those contracts and you're doing good work, when they see that, they're more impressed because you've changed their perception of what professionalism is, what a Black person is, what a woman-owned business is. Because I know a lot of the young women in the chat have told me that when they've gone for locations, people have kind of, given them the side eye. They say, well, who's going to put all the drinks in there? You? They do that kind of ableism thing. I hate that. They do that kind of, that sexist kind of thing. So when you
send the representative.
Right. You always say, even for me, guys, I've been in positions where I really wanted a location and the person that I sent wasn't me. Or in the emails, it would be, thank you for contacting us. We're using words like procurement to talk about contracts. We're talking about using the language that these people talk in. And I have a little bit of background. I did government contracting for a while, so I have the lingo down. But a lot of times it will be behooves you to have somebody else represent you from time to time, just to make yourself look big. I always talk about in we's, us's. I always talk like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even when I approach other people, and I always send, but say if I'm approaching a big client like that, which I did them one, I do have an amazing, go to Michael's or wherever, get a nice shipping box and just fill it with the stuff. I'll send that ahead of my email or my call. So I'll start sending out boxes to people I'm interested in, of popcorn and all this stuff, like a week ahead. And then the following week, I know they already got it because I tracked it. I'll go ahead and send the email flyer and say, hey, a representative reach out to you regarding blah, blah, blah. Now you've got to get my flyer and stuff. So it's not, I can finesse my cold calling, right? Or my cold emailing. I can finesse and then be more assertive once I had a a sack of treats. And so that's it. I just kind of took a different approach. I take a different approach when you're trying to deal with different people.
I agree. I agree 100%. Your phone fading out a little bit, but I just want to thank you so much for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that because that gives us a lot of ideas. I like the fact that you sent out, gift basket, maybe with a couple items just to kind of introduce yourself. That way you broken the ice, you built a rapport. People love snacks. And now when you send that email, when you send that phone call, people take it seriously. People respond to it because you've already broken down that wall that kind of keeps people from soliciting the services that you guys are trying to do. So I like that. I love the fact that you guys did that. That works in you guys' case. Is there anything that you would want to share with the call before we move on?
No, I'm good. Just think outside the box, dream big. That's it.
That's amazing, y'all. Congrats to her, man. Y'all let her know in the chat, man, how proud we are, Ava, man. That's amazing.
Thanks, y'all.
That is, I mean, I can't even cap
Thank
it.
you.
That's amazing. Shout out to her. I love it. That's amazing. I love to see stuff like that. I wanted to kind of just touch in with everybody today, and really just push the fact that it's such a huge thing for us to continue moving forward. It has not always been great days for Miss Ava. She was trying to get locations, run into a few roadblocks here and there, but she didn't let that stuff stop her. She kept going. And sometimes it is the no's that lead you to the biggest yeses. So don't regret when the no's come in. Those things are part of the journey. When the yeses come in, though, you position yourself to target the right customer, the right people that are going to give you the maximum return of effort. And a lot of times, y'all, when you shoot for the top, it's not very crowded there. There's not a lot of competition for these spaces because newer vendors may feel intimidated to go after these bigger locations. And it's actually even inspired me to go after a few of the Alabama rest stops and Georgia rest stops. So I'm going to be going after a few of those this week and offering my services for those. So at least just to get in front of people and to see what we can offer. So that's amazing, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to your family. Y'all, that's amazing. I love to see it.
Thank you. Thanks for your help. I really couldn't have
Anytime.
did it without
Anytime.
that young one-on-one. I
I appreciate
appreciate it.
that. I appreciate that. And that's what we want to be able to offer to everybody. So if you haven't already booked your one-on-one, book your one-on-one, make it a weekly thing. I know some of you guys are on the 10-day journey with me. Some of you guys have already started your process and trust the process. There's a reason why we may not meet the first time and talk about $1 million location, but we may meet the first time and make sure that the LLC is properly structured. We may meet the first time and make sure the brochures are properly structured. Those things are very important because they legitimize you in the eyes of these locations. And that gives them a point of reference to go back to. So just like she said, having the brochure is important as well. And then also using tools like ChatGPT to create these proposals that will save you hours of time. Because I mean, if I had to write that stuff by myself, it probably would have taken me an hour or so to write it, maybe 2 hours to just kind of get the verbiage right. ChatGPT in like 5 seconds while I'm on the phone with her is like knocking that out. And that's so important to use this technology to your advantage because everybody else is using it. Why aren't you using it every single day? Even the verbiage for your brochure. If you need a quick paragraph that talks about a vending company named XYZ that does this, that, and the third, and is located in this city, put that into the prompt section, and then ChatGPT can give you a professional paragraph that makes you sound big. Even now, I've been debating on doing a 1-800 number for my Vending website just to make me look bigger. Like, oh, you're talking to a 1-800, but then again, you run the risk for some of my smaller locations. They want that hometown feel. They want that feel. So we're still figuring it out, but everyone should be using ChatGPT in every business that you guys go into. I don't care what it is. Use ChatGPT at least to write the prompts, the descriptions, everything. I wanted to also leave the floor open for anybody else that wanted to share wins or some difficulties that they're going through. I know some of you guys have been going through a lot of difficulties with locations, and it's part of the game right now. Right now, summertime is typically not the best time to get locations just because a lot of people have dialed in during the winter and they're waiting on summer to come in because that's our peak time for vending. But there are opportunities. So I want to give you guys that maybe we need to shoot bigger. So anyway, yeah, I want to open the floor. Anybody wanted to share, you can go ahead and speak now. I see Deidre has a hand raised. Go ahead, Deidre. Oh yeah, and I
Hey,
love the new
Jason. Hey.
Celsius at Costco. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Jason. Hey, everybody. Again, congratulations to Ava. That's so amazing. And it's
Amazing.
Thank
actually, her
you.
story is very inspiring to me because of what I'm actually going through now. Due to Lacey promoting vending exchange so much, I actually gave them a try and I bought a couple of leads from them and I went to some sites visits and different things like that. And to be honest, it was a learning experience because as much as you think you're prepared, you find yourself to be met with something that you didn't even think of. So, Ava,
Absolutely.
like the points you were given earlier were absolutely right with your proposal, your marketing, and I had most of this stuff. I had to do an agreement over the weekend I had to make it a little bit more detailed and more structured than what was given within the group because of just how when you go to these meetings sometimes how they come at you so hard. It's like, okay, yeah, everything that they're bringing up, and one of the things that come up is commission, and they just throw numbers out there not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
understanding the back end. And one thing that you do find yourself debating with vendors about is the gross versus the net
Ooh.
as far as commissions.
Yeah.
And a lot of them want gross.
Yeah, they do.
One of the ladies that I had to meet with, she was the contact, and she said, "Well, we want it from the gross." And her follow up, I had to pull myself back because her follow up was like, "Well, that's not really our problem." And I'm like, "Well, I guess you don't want vendor sustainability because you've already had a vendor that came in and left because they didn't want to be like didn't hear back from them." And I'm thinking to myself, and if that's the attitude that if you're saying this to me, I don't know what the exchange was before I got
Absolutely.
into the picture, but you can't necessarily say, well, that's not our problem and this is what we're looking for,
That-
especially since she already admitted, like, I wasn't even thinking about it. It was the COO that said it. So it's like you weren't thinking about it. Somebody introduced it and now you're defending something and you don't even really have a clue why you're defending something other than somebody told you to defend this motive. And I'm
Absolutely.
telling you that it's going to affect pricing. It's
Absolutely.
going to affect my overhead, which is now going to affect the products there. But then you're taking this, well, that's not my problem stance.
And that kills me, overall, because that tells me that we're not going to really have a good relationship. That's red flags, y'all. That is the abusive relationship that is a red flag right here. And I know a lot of times we get excited and we compromise and we say, well, I'll just up the price. But really the overall attitude tells you that you're probably not going to be a good fit, because what they'll end up getting is they'll end up getting a slime ball vendor that will go in and say, okay, since I'm the only one that knows the true numbers, I'll just download it as an Excel file, change the numbers, make it look like we're not really making a lot of money, and just keep my money off the top and overcharge you guys. And you end up in those kind of situations, or you're going to get a good person that goes to that location, they're going to naturally burn out because you're not going to make any money. And
Mm-hmm.
but their thing is they would never make a move that would jeopardize their business and their livelihood. And so you have to have the same attitude. I was explaining this to my son this weekend. He asked me, he was like, Dad, you've never done anything low down in business? And I was like, son, well, unfortunately, even I have had to do things that were wise for me from a position that may have come off wrong, like leaving locations that just didn't serve me. I've had locations that have had this bad relationship with me and I've had to walk away from them. And I gave no notice. I let them know, hey, look, I'm gone. I'll holler at you. Because at the end of the day, you didn't care enough about the people out here, your employees, the customers, to make it a fair deal. I'm the one doing all the work. I'm providing a service. I'm providing a $4,000 vending machine. And you're worried about money. That commission piece was really only started to cover electricity bills when vending machines were not efficient. And this is back in like the 60s, 70s. And these business owners have been riding that thing as a passive piece of income because they can look at it as rental income, therefore non-tax. A lot of times you'll see not the owner won't even get it. It will be the general manager that will take that money and pocket it. So we're really negotiating with somebody that a lot of times doesn't even have the authority, which is what was happening in my case. And even if you do get the person that has the authority to ask for a commission, they are basically extorting you. So if my rule of thumb is net only, I can't give you gross. That makes no sense to give you gross. Nobody gets gross except for the federal government. They get a piece of your gross money. But I can't give you something on the level of the IRS. You're gonna get net. And if you have an issue with that, you trying to give me anything over 15% commission for a regular location, I'm going to dip. I'm going to dip, and it doesn't matter about what you feel about that situation. I'm trying to take care of my business and make sure it survives, because this is how I pay my bills. Just like you're going to make sure that your business survives, so this is how you pay your bills. But you're not going to come over here and have me in a pimp relationship. It's just not going to be that way. So I agree with
Yeah.
you. I agree with you. It is a huge issue in the industry. Commission.
Yeah. So what I did is I just responded back to them. We did the walkthrough, we did everything. I already know that she's not the person that has the final answer, and she's just pretty much an in-between person. So after we had a slight back and forth, and I kind of caught myself and was just like, stop arguing with her and just listen to let her say whatever she has to say. Send your proposal. She has to pass it on to someone else. And in my proposal and in my agreement, I put in a tier system for the commission. And I let it be known that due to the responsibilities that we have and in the industry standards, we don't necessarily do commission, but I also understand that it is a nonprofit organization. They do a lot of behavioral and mental wellness for people who are transitioning from homelessness, coming home from prison and different things like that. So I also understand their community outreach and probably looking for funds to be able to facilitate the different programs. So I pitched it that way, but also let it know, like, that's the only reason that I'm considering commission, and it's based on this tier system where I have to make a certain amount of money in order for you to get 15%. So I started it off at 3%, 10%, and then 15%.
I like the way you did the tier system. I think that was a brilliant move, to make it their responsibility to increase the sales. So they should be helping you and advocating for people to use the vending machines as a way to help them.
I also asked for, and I told them if it's also commission-based locations, they have to have provisions for marketing on the location site, which means if you have a media screen, any type of media you do, you need to be able to promote me and promote the machines. One of the locations and this is another thing, when I went there were quite a few people there. And the area that it's in and the people that they serve are from the hood. Matter of fact, there was an argument in the middle of the meeting. So I said, okay, I understand the demographic. These are my people. I know them. I know them. And that was another thing. I said, and I'm thinking to myself, you got a certain type of clientele here. And I put it in my agreement. They break my stuff, they got to pay for it. Whether I got insurance or not. You got to pay for
that was smart. That was
I was like, said I'm not even trying to be in a back and forth with y'all on this. So, and in the hallway underneath one of the steps, as you come in, there's a space. And she's saying she wants a combo. Now, a lot of the times when you have these, like, it's not a community center, it's more like a social services building. You know, they have different social programs that have offices and different services. Just on staff alone, you have at least 30 to 40 people. But then you want to tell me you want to put a combo. And I said it to her. I said, that's not ideal. A combo is not ideal for this location. You need at least one drink and one snack. Because I said, then I have to put more resources into people coming out here, and that's going to affect your prices. Oh, well, for the aesthetic, two can't go together here, and this and that. I said, miss, I'm the expert. I'm the professional in this industry. I can't tell you about social services. but I'm going to tell you what's the best equipment. You want to make sure that your clients as well as your employees have a consumer experience that is pleasurable, and not one where, oh, we're constantly running out of stuff. Oh, I have to wait for somebody to stock up the machine, when they're actually, whether they're waiting because the person is actually stocking the machine or the person hasn't arrived in their stocking. You don't want that to be a continuous thing that they're seeing. And I said that also creates a security risk for my employee.
I like the way that you framed it as being something for your employee, number one. So you made it not about you, the person, but about the company. The company has a concern, so that makes you bigger. I do like the fact that you deflected it off of, hey, you're an expert in your field, I'm an expert in mine. So that way you can build that trust factor. But sometimes, y'all, when you're dealing with the hood, and I worked in nonprofit for about 5-6 years, when you're dealing with nonprofit people, sometimes you just got to say stuff and stand on it, because they're used to getting people that tell them one thing and them pushing the narrative that they want, right? They have to do that in the nonprofit world. If you want to get funding dollars, you have to push the narrative that, hey, we're deserving of these funding dollars because we're serving XYZ, and it's important to this millionaire because of this right here, right? They have to force that because there's a bunch of other people there. So they get into this mentality of, hey, I must win every single deal, right? Because funding is limited and all that. So you have to push that, like, hey, look, no, like, I know this is what you're used to doing, but no, there's going to be a terrible experience, and then eventually you're going to get tired of me because I'm going to be running out all the time. That combo machine, like you said, is not adequate for the space. If they have 40 people just on staff, and then not to mention maybe double, triple on clients coming in, there's no way
So they
a
had a
combo
lot
machine.
of people. What I liked about it is they had people in and out. I like that part of it. I also like what they're doing in the community. So I would also like to contribute. And who knows where the relationship will go as business progresses, and also how we could also be a partnership with them to continue
Right.
putting resources.
And then you can let them know that if they partner with you, they can use you on their grant applications as a woman-owned business, minority-owned business, so that can actually help them.
Oh yes, I definitely made sure
Partnership.
to put that I was a minority woman-owned business. I'm actually from the community,
That's
so it's
that's
like I
great.
said, I said that I coincide with your mission and your values as far as serving the community. You're going to now be doing a small business affiliation with a business owner that's from the community, is active in trying to serve and also looking towards. So yes, I made sure I hit those points because we're all about diversity and inclusion, and it's not just going to be on your website, it's actually going to be in actuality. That's what we're doing.
I love that. I love the fact that you stayed 10 toes down. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think,
So
about the
she's gonna
relationship?
pass it on to her COO.
Okay.
The initial interaction with the lady that I met in person probably wouldn't be as influential as what I put on paper to do my proposal and my agreement, because these are all the things that I thought after I seen that she wasn't really the one, and then it was just like she was too hung up on being she was giving me messenger vibes.
Yeah, you got to
Like
talk.
you're just doing what somebody told you to do.
Right.
So you're gonna pass this on. She said it takes about a week for someone to get back. I got back to her. We had the meeting Thursday. I actually sent her the email actually on this morning. I sent it to her this morning because, and I actually felt bad about that because I wanted to get it to her when I said I would, which was probably by Friday, but I needed time to really digest what took place at the site visit, how I was going to approach this, because there were a lot of things that I didn't agree with the commission. The fact that she was pushing for a combo machine, the fact that she even wanted to say, well, let's put both of them in a cafeteria. And I'm like, but you use the cafeteria as a conference room, and sometimes one part is blocked off. You need one out and one in the cafeteria. Put the drink machines closest to the door, which is what I explained to her, and put the snack machine in. We could always put a sign. People would always question, like, oh, do you have a snack machine? It promotes a conversation for sales towards the other machine. You put both of them hidden in. If people don't know or don't ask a question, they're not gonna know.
I agree.
Their eyes are their best advertisement to know, hey, there's something here. So those different things. So I had to digest all of that and then attack the points where and just strengthen my loose ends. And like you said, to be able to bring a greater presence, because at first initially she said 20%, and I said, well, we don't really do commission, and if I do commission it has to be at a certain level, and I said the most that we're willing to do is 15%, and she was like 17%. So I also felt that she felt like she had to bring something to her boss. You can bring whatever you got to your boss, but this is what I'm about. I didn't even tell her about the tier system, get into that to her, because I didn't want her to prep her boss with that. I wanted to just hit them with what I was coming with and let them know this is what it is. And then we can discuss these opportunities and see where we go from here.
That was smart. I think that was a good move, especially when you're dealing with something that's hostile. And I think you're gonna get this location. I think they're gonna bend to you. But I always suggest to people, if the deal is not the right deal, you save more money walking away from that deal than doing the deal and then realizing later that you have to walk away. So
Yes.
if it's not for you, you already seem like you're prepared. Hey, look, if I got to go somewhere else, I go somewhere else. But if you can make this deal work, I think it's going to be a slam dunk for foot traffic. I love hood locations because they do make a lot of money. Hood locations, they spend money.
I foresee it making a lot of money with the beverages, and also it has also stretched me because they're constantly, I don't know if anybody else is hearing this, but getting requests for healthier snacks.
Yeah, I
And
look.
when you take it
Oh,
back like about 5 or 6 years ago, to be honest, you didn't have, because of the other business that I had in the Virgin Islands where we were introducing healthy snacks, people liked them, but it was hard to get them,
right.
especially for export. But now I see there's so many places that are asking for healthy snacks. And then I actually did a little research.
Okay.
Now I see the look on your face, because I have it too. I was like, even for myself, if I see that Snicker bar versus that Quest bar, what you think I'm about? I'm about that daggone Snicker bar.
Snicker is the move. Snicker is the move.
but I did a little field trip. I took my friend and we did a little field trip, and we just bought up a whole bunch of stuff that we saw that were low in inventory at the neighboring 7-Eleven and CVS
Okay.
in Manhattan. So all the stuff that we saw that people were gravitating to, he picked up 5 items. I picked up 5 items, and we ate them. We was like, we got to do a taste test, because what I didn't want to do is order stuff not knowing how it tastes, and then it's just like go. To be honest, these protein bars and different things, they're not the protein bars where I remember a couple of years ago that tasted like chalk. They're
Chalky.
actually starting to taste better. And
Okay.
I was like, okay, this isn't bad. Then I was seeing like some different array of nut mixes, different things. So they're getting tastier. That's the
Okay.
good thing. They're getting tastier, and people are requesting the healthy snacks. So what I plan to do is start incorporating and putting the new stuff next to the traditional stuff. So
Absolutely.
that if somebody is considering something, all right, let me give you a healthy alternative to what you would traditionally get to try to market that. So I don't know if anybody else has been getting those requests for healthy options, but definitely getting that,
That's what's up.
especially in the more corporate environment, because that place is asking for healthy snacks. I also had a site visit with the Washington Post. That one was a lot better and a lot more well received.
Shout out to the
But to be
Washington
honest,
Post. Wait,
the
whoa, whoa,
Post,
whoa. Washington Post?
yeah, Washington Post,
That's big.
yeah. But to be
Oh.
honest, their lead was misleading. That's
Mm,
why I didn't talk much about it, because it was misleading. They are transitioning, getting back into the office, but it's not mandatory for their employees to get back in the office. So
ah,
yes, they may have at least 60 plus employees that are supposed to be coming in, but they're not mandated. The lady was honestly enough to tell me that they only come in like once a week, and some of them don't come in at all. And summertime's about to come.
right. Nobody
So
wants.
I was kind of annoyed with that location, because I'm like, this isn't what I paid for. And I understand where they got their numbers, because she said pre-pandemic, when they had a vending machine, they were doing 8 something a month.
Woo.
So that could work, but they're gonna have to mandate their people in, which hasn't been done yet. So that's the only bad thing about that.
It's coming. Like the mandates are coming because I'm already seeing news clips where
Mm-hmm.
certain CEOs have, Elon has famously come out and told people like, look, if you want to have a job, you better be in the office. And so there's going to be a domino effect of that happening. But I think right now we're not feeling the full effects of the recession and then financial crash. If we get to the point of a real financial crash, there's going to be an incentive for people to come back to the office at that
Okay.
point. But right now, nobody's trying to go back to the office. Everybody's trying,
Nobody should exactly. So, and
and it's
in
cheaper to
that
do remote work.
location, she's like, well, we can see how it goes. But again, the healthy options, and then this is where also a cultural difference will show itself, especially if you're not educated, because my healthy options and her healthy options were two different healthy options. I
Right.
was like, yeah, but I sent you healthy options. It was like, no. And then that's when I decided, you know what? I'm free this evening. I'm gonna come back and check out the local places where they would get drinks and snacks, and let's see what it is that people are buying. And yeah, I was buying stuff I never ate before.
That's what's up. I commend you for, because what you basically did was you did market research. So you did
Hmm.
market research to see what was in your area. Now I'm sure you've seen the price tag on those items as
Oh
well.
yes, and that was
So,
enlightening too,
right,
because and that's another thing that I learned, which I didn't know before. When they ask you about pricing, never discuss pricing, or if they keep pushing you, because that's what happened. She kept pushing it, and I just gave her like some of my more expensive prices, but then I realized I could do better than that
right,
when I went and I did that market research. So when I sent them a follow-up email, I said, please note that in our site visit, there were some prices that were discussed with you, but those are just estimated pricing, and every location is different due to the
absolutely.
expenses and overhead that costs us to service those locations. So those are a benchmark. So you may find prices that are at that mark that we discussed, or a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but it's all based on the location. So that was something that I learned. But then I was like, ooh, when I seen the prices, I was like,
Because expensive to us, expensive is relative. So,
mm-hmm,
a person will pay $10 for a Fiji water if that's what they really want and they're in that
mm-hmm,
economic bracket. That's something I've had to learn, especially working in urgent cares. Most of the urgent cares that I work in, they're in, affluent Caucasian areas, and they want top tier pricing. So for me in a lower income area, $1.50 for a bottle of Coke is perfect. But in their area, they really want a can of what is that one they get all the time, the seltzer water. They want the seltzer water from Publix, and they want it for $4, and they'll pay it happily because to them higher price means higher quality. Versus for us, a lot of times in the areas that I service, higher price means price gouging. I ain't finna buy that. I'm looking for a deal. And I had to change my mindset about pricing. Pricing is all relative. So that same Snicker bar that I'm struggling to sell for $1.50 over here is gonna get sold for $3 every single time in a different area, but it's gonna have to be a Milky Way. It might have to be a Milky Way.
got
And
you.
I don't necessarily like Milky Ways. You know what I mean? And I've learned that like,
Mm-hmm,
even cereal bars. I have some locations I tried cereal bars and did nothing. And then I put those same cereal bars in a more affluent area. And I mean, they sell like hotcakes. So I like that you were careful not to underprice yourself, because those are really where your profit are. The higher you can charge them. So
yeah.
I think you did right with that. It's just that right now the office space thing is very, especially in New York. They had a report came out where I want to say only 60% of office spaces are even occupied.
Yeah, like a lot of people, and that's another thing she was, what I liked about her meeting, unlike the other meeting that I had, the conversation was more open. It was a dialogue. I got a lot of great insight as far as what could be done. I think the location has potential, but you need the people to get back
Absolutely.
in the office space. That's what it is. And she was honest to say that, they go with the trends, and they've
Mm,
had a lot of turnover recently for people who left the job to go to other jobs where they could just have the freedom to work from home totally.
yeah, and
So
it's
they're also
everything.
experiencing that, and I wasn't aware of that. So that was a good insight for me to know what's going on in the marketplace as far as it relates to employers in these corporate buildings, because as you know, New York City, our biggest thing is real estate, especially corporate
Huge.
real estate in Manhattan. That's what we're about.
Huge. So yeah, I appreciate the fact. Now I would say going forward, your next steps would be just keep in contact with that lady from that building, because there may be
I
some
will. Yeah,
further
she was so
opportunity.
nice. She
Yeah,
even said that, she spoke to the general managers of the building and asked them for a vending machine. And she said, she was like, I love your hustle. She was like, I love your spirit. And she was like, I honestly wish that we could do something that would have been bona fide, because I really like what you're doing. So she was like, I said, well, talk to the people in the building. You have a good rapport with the people in the building. If it can't work just exactly for Washington Post in their office, let's see if we could get something done with the building.
excellent recovery. Excellent recovery. I'm proud of you, regardless to
Thank
whether
you.
the relationship works out or not. I'm proud of the fact that you're stuck to your guns and you continue to push forward. That's called perseverance. And you continuing to push forward, you're gonna be successful regardless. And I like the fact that she mentioned that she liked your spirit. That's a big thing. People don't get the vending services just because you're offering great snacks, great service. They get it because they like you as a person. So I always try
Yes.
to my best to, give people a piece of my personality, talk to people, I make a joke, I make people feel comfortable with me, and then I even introduce them a lot of times to my family, because I want them to know that I'm a real person. I'm not going to skimp out on you. You get a chance to really meet me, and they follow me on
Hmm.
Facebook and all that, and I keep it PG, but we talk, and they know what I stand on. You know what I mean? Like certain things, I just stand on that. Like being a man,
Yeah.
your
And
family.
that's what I was like. That's why I say, even though, it's a lot of uncertainty, and, I don't take it at this point. It's like, it's in a mode where we're communicating, we're going through agreements and proposals. So this is all a negotiating phase,
Yes.
and something will come out of this. I actually have another meeting tomorrow with a engineering firm,
Okay.
and they just want a snack machine for their break room. They're not interested in any drinks. But my plan is, when I get there, is to also go over like the new options that I have. And I've been working overnight to really steadily have the availability to these healthier options. And I'm still going to continue to do market research, because what I want to do is now fine tune my ordering with these healthy snacks to make sure everything I order tastes good. I don't want it just to be healthy. It has to taste good, so that it'll actually sell. And if somebody asks me, I can actually give an opinion as to, does this taste good? Is this right? So I just want to make sure that I get that done right, but also looking to see what it is that they have to offer. And then now going and looking and seeing, okay, so you just want snacks, and then to find a good way to find out why you don't want drinks. And if there is a way to get drinks in there, to be able to get it in there as well. And
That's
these people
amazing.
so far have been really good on email. So it's just meeting them, showing up with my personality, and presenting myself well.
I love it. I love it. I'm proud of you. Keep pushing. You're doing
Thank you.
amazing. How many locations you at right now?
Location wise, I'm at four. And I'm hoping to get four more
Okay.
before summer is done. I'm really pushing to get at least four more to summer is done, and I want some more fast paced movement, especially up in the New York City area, to really get things going. I
Keep that
want to
money.
start setting myself up, and then now that I see what it takes, because so far my negotiations that I've done so far, and I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like
I
that. I'm
like I
just
like a
speaking
little bit of cocky though.
honestly.
I like a little bit of cocky. Go a little cocky with me.
I was a powerhouse. I was coming in and saying, this is what we're doing. And when they were pushing back on me with commission, I was like, but I'm not doing that, because we didn't speak about that beforehand, and I'm already in your location. So what you gonna do?
Come on. Talk to me. Talk to
Like,
me.
and then now I'm on the other end, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's so funny, because my other business, you have salespeople come to you all the time trying to sell you stuff, trying to do stuff. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it is to be on the other side when you trying to push something on somebody, and they
And I
like,
like the fact that you're
okay,
not
come with it.
asking. You're not asking. You're going in with terms. You're telling,
Yes.
and that's a big piece of selling. People want to buy. They just don't know
Hmm.
what they want to buy. So you come
Yes.
in assertive and you tell them how this helps them. That is marketing 101. That is selling
Yeah.
101. So you're doing a phenomenal. There's a book. Let me show you guys this book real quick. If you
Okay.
get a chance to see this book, I think this would be a great move for you guys. 1 second. Let me pull this out. One of my favorite books. This book right here, Lord, I live by this book. This is called, this is by Daniel H. Pink, To Sell is Human. This is a phenomenal book. You can pick this up on Amazon for like $13. When I tell you this is probably one of the best sales books, and it really goes into detail about how the psychology of selling works. And then it also takes away some of the sleaze, because when you first start selling, you know, it can kind of come off a little sleazy, a little slime ball. You know, you don't want to sound like the used car salesman.
Yes.
But you do have to give people the value. Why? And so I like the fact that you're going through extra steps to learn the market, to learn what people want. You're studying your customer, you're preparing yourself for your customer, and then you're providing super value, because now you not only know what products are going to sell, what's selling in the area, what the pricing is in the area, but you also know what tastes good. And that is really what selling is. You're transferring all this knowledge that you have, and it's just gonna cost them a few bucks to get there. They just need a few bucks, you know. Say yes to me being here, no commission.
Yes.
The more you do that, but yeah, this book, Daniel H. Pink, To Sell is Human, phenomenal book, one of the best sellers, and it really helps you learn the psychology of moving others around. So I would suggest that to anybody in the room. That is a great book. I live by it. I read it. I've read this book cover to cover. It's not even a big read too. Like it looked like it's a big book, but these are like double printed words, y'all. It's nothing. I skip around to the different chapters. Yeah, I can hold it up one more time, Lacey. This is To Sell is Human by Daniel H. Pink, and phenomenal book, great author. It really breaks it down. Even talks about like the history of door-to-door salesmen and all that, and really helps you understand why certain business models and selling models work while others don't. So what you're doing right now, you're doing business to business sales, but you're giving them knowledge, you're giving them key facts, you're helping them make the decision, and you're being active. You're not just saying, hey, if you want this, you want me to service your vending location? No. Okay. You're actually giving them value. Yes, this is why you want this kind of healthy snack. It tastes amazing. This is alternative to chocolate. This is within this price range. And so I like the way that you've handled yourself. I think that's a win in itself. And that's a skill that's going to take you everywhere. So great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. I want to
And you guys have helped me a lot, to be honest. Honestly, you guys have helped me a lot.
Lacey
Everybody comes in and speaking.
business credits.
Lacey has a lot of information. Yes, she does.
I'm about to make Lacey a channel just to be like, drop me business stuff in here, because
yeah,
my business
Lacey.
credit too.
Lacey has a lot of information.
Shout out to Lacey.
Even has inspired me with all the stuff that she has been doing. I'm even gonna steal some from you, which is with the whole the gift basket thing. Cause I was like, I've seen, like, for example, they're building an apartment building not too far from where I live. And it looks like it's going to be one of these fancy buildings. And I'm wondering, like, okay, I should probably send them something like a little care package, a little marketing to get myself in there. And then I've seen some sites for like some hotels that are going to be building on the other side, for me about 15-20 minutes away, getting that address, sending that to put my foot in the door and get it. So, you know,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of this group. Like, everybody's really, learning from each other. And that's really what the group was about. It was really about if we get 100 people into the room to share our expertise, there's no way we can't win. So I love it, guys. Thank you so much, Deidre. Did you have any last comments or
last comments? I just want to say one thing that I noticed, and one thing that I'm probably going to discuss on our one-on-ones, is I've identified that I'm going to need to get some help.
Yes.
And I'm, like you said, actually getting somebody to represent me, to go on these initial things and just answer the phone and different things like that. I remember one time when I was putting sodas in my storage unit, and this guy actually asked to help me, but I couldn't have him help me because the manager kind of has a crush on me, and he was helping me at the same time, so I had to kind of downplay that.
You be an awkward situation, Lord. Hey, but
listen, you gotta get your help the way you gotta get your help.
Hey, I bet them eyes. Hey, he trying to take your spot. Come on, help me with these sodas, man.
To be honest, the testosterone that was going on was a little too much for me. So I was like, yeah. Because the guy, honestly, he was looking for work. He
Okay.
said, I have access to a man if you need help, and I'm willing to give him an opportunity, but just want to know, how are other operators going out getting that extra help? Are you doing background checks? Like,
Absolutely.
what's
Absolutely. So when we get our one-on-one, we're gonna talk about it, but I hire them like a regular employee,
Mhm.
or I hire them like a contract. I get all their information. I try to
I'm
lock it.
thinking to do independent contracting because,
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't want to be responsible for your taxes.
none of that.
Sorry to say, I'm not ready to do your health insurance. Like, I'm not there yet. So I'd rather
Mhm.
you just do independent contractor, and I pay you like, okay, if we're loading up 3 days a week, I say, here, this is the sum of money we're doing, and it's going to be task based and project based.
Right. And I think that works perfectly. And I'm also still trying to figure out. There's an app called TaskRabbit, and
Hmm.
I want to see if I can work through that app, but I got to test some stuff out.
I've worked with them to do stuff in my mom's home. It's a good program. The guys who I got were actually really good, but they do take like about 25%
Right.
and
So
add that
yeah, but
to
it's
it. So it
usually there's
made,
like an
and I
admin.
felt bad because I wanted to tip the guys, but I couldn't because I didn't, they don't tell you that up front. So
Mhm.
it's at the end when they say, okay, you booked this person for X amount of hours for this day, and then they hit you with that 25%. And it's like, dang, you kind of just took their little extra money.
Hey, it's a dog eat dog world, but if they on task
Yeah.
rabbit, then that gives it a way for you not to have to, expose yourself. And then I'm sure because they're going through the app, if they, misbehave, there's recourse.
Yes.
There's something that can be done, so you're not taking on all the risk. So I
Yeah.
think I think that's a good idea as well, Task Rabbit.
Okay.
And then or either just doing straight contractor work. But we'll
Yeah.
talk about it on our one-on-one.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, we probably need to do like a series on that, guys, just to talk about how to hire somebody. Because I've hired a couple people, but I still do a lot of stuff myself. I want to open the floor for another question or anybody that wanted to share a comment, concern. I know it's 10:30. I want to give it some more time so that we can, 'cause I was running a little late. Basically, what's going on, y'all? It's a whole bunch of mess and drama when it comes to the CBD company. My father-in-law has become infamous, and he got full control of the company. The investors are peeved, and they come to me for answers, and I just don't have them. And so yeah, so I was on an hour-long call trying to quell people's anger and getting mess thrown everywhere. But anyway, but I want to open it up. Who's next? Who we got next? Yeah, we got it. Yeah, my father-in-law, he got the bag, but he don't want to share nothing. He got the bag, but he don't want to share nothing. He's 50 some years old. He's divorced now. He got him a 30-year-old girlfriend slash baby mama, and he's living his best life. He ain't studying the folks. He didn't got the bag and he got full control. Shout out to my father. I ain't gonna do all that, but shout out to my father. So I'm over here cleaning up his mess. I'm like, look, y'all, we're gonna help y'all get yeah, because we got the CBD company. Yeah, she 30 something. She younger than my wife. So yeah, that ooh. I mean, got a whole baby, got a whole little 1-year-old. Shout out to my father-in-law. Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Them old men, man, be the ones. They be the ones. Be the old ones. Don't think it ain't the young guys, it's the old ones. They want to live their life too. He got a Cadillac truck and y'all can't tell him nothing. Shout out to that disability check though. Shout out to that disability check. Anybody want to share anything else? Today was just gonna be a Q&A. I just had so much stuff going on today, y'all. I'm actually still going through some legal issues with my son. So I got an attorney. We're seeking an emergency custody order. She's going through it, and unfortunately, sometimes people think that you're trying to be malicious. So I've had to be the bad guy, but I'm willing to do anything for my kids to make sure they're taken care of, even if that means I'm going to make my baby mama super mad. So this one of those things has to happen, y'all. It just has to happen. But yeah, Miss Brittany Jewels, you joined us. I haven't had a chance to meet you. We missed our one-on-ones. Y'all know a lot of times with the one-on-ones with Calendly, to keep it free, they'll send you out an update sometimes, or they might not even send the update. So y'all keep track of it, and also remember that it's on Eastern time. Sometimes when you get the notice, you might think it's on Central time, or you might be in a different time zone. So I want to give y'all a heads up. If I miss it, I'm on the call, so just DM me. Sometimes I might get the DM late. I'll reschedule for y'all. I'll do it late night if I have to. If it doesn't work for y'all schedule, we'll try to figure out a date. The times on the calendar are just like general times that gives me kind of a basis. But if I have to go over, I go over. Yeah, I'll definitely go over. And I know I got a ton of work we got to do tomorrow, y'all. But yeah, I definitely want to meet everybody. I know, Miss Brittany, we got to do our one-on-one ASAP. So I don't know if you scheduled for tomorrow, but I got. Go ahead.
No, I was yelling at the baby.
Oh.
No, I'm good. But real quick, I did want to say two things before we left, before everybody started parting away. One thing I had been doing when I approach people and select people, I never ask to come to their location. I'll invite them to reserve a machine. So I'm not saying, hey, can I come? I literally, I'm inviting you to reserve one of these machines, and that's gonna get them every time. Like if you change, just switch it up, like complete cold switch on them, because they need you as much as you need them. The second thing is that if you are having a hard little time looking for locations, just look in different locations, right? Like I went on a cruise, and when I was there, I'm always in hustle mode. I was looking. It was 5,000 people on my cruise. The port, everybody's standing in these long lines with 1,000 kids that's thirsty and hungry. They had one musty vending machine that had, chocolate, and it was 89 degrees in Florida. What if there was an amazing drink machine or a popsicle machine or whatever else that was there? Those buildings are not owned by anybody mega important. They might be. They're not managed by anybody mega important. They're managed by Joe Schmo, who made $40,000 a year. Right. So you can approach Joe Schmo. Don't let Joe Schmo intimidate you, because you make more than him. So that's when you call and ask for procurement. There was only one musty vending machine with chocolate bars, and it's 100 degrees down there in Florida, right? So just open your eyes a little bit, while you out. Don't let nobody, all they can do is say no. But the laundromat can also say no. So I would rather get told no. You know what I'm saying? You don't get told no regardless. So just don't worry about where you at or how big the play. It don't matter. Just go.
I agree 100%. I think, and I even like mentioned on Instagram that I think ports and marinas, docks, those are like gold mines. Because like you said, I went on a cruise with my wife, and we went and we just saw a lot of that in Florida, tons of that in Florida. So if you're in Florida, that might be something worth reaching out. And just to give you guys a quick update as well. So I got the list. It's over 6,000 locations that we're calling actively. So we got the kinks worked out of it. A lot of times when a person is calling from overseas, even if they're using a US number, sometimes they'll get blocked by the phone company as maybe spam related, things like that. So we've been working through a lot of issues, had to change numbers, had to change call ID codes, all that kind of stuff. So we're working actively. So if you're in Florida, if you're in, because I know I got one for Sam in Florida, but if you're in Florida, Dallas, Texas, New York, and Cali, we're actively calling several locations in those areas. And then we're going to do the rounds for everybody else after that, after we see some success with this one. So there will be some locations coming. It's just time, but go for the big ones. If you got time, go for the big ones. The worst they can say is no. And then you'll know what you need to do for the next one. I've been told no so many times, y'all, in life and business. And I'm still here. I'm still ticking. They ain't killed me. But, those opportunities, like Ava said, if you don't take those chances, no risk, no reward. So take those chances. It will definitely help you. And then again, there's nothing wrong with starting out small too. If you find a location that it works for you, works with your schedule, because you might want passive income on the side. You may not want to go super big right now. You might want to build it up and see what it does for a while, especially on your first 1 or 2 machines. You might want to wait for a minute. But if you're already ready, you want to go big with it, and we'll talk about those strategies in our one-on-ones. Make sure that we get that one-on-one. I know it's a little over our time. I just want to thank everybody today for coming over, giving me enough time to sort through my father-in-law sugar daddy mess, and much love and respect to everybody. Y'all know how the old men be. Look, shout out to him. I love it. I'm like, my boy got his mojo back. But anyway, much love and respect to you guys. Book your one-on-ones. Lacey, thank you so much for dropping all that free sauce in the chat. I really appreciate it. I know everybody on this call appreciates it. And thank everybody for sharing their wins, the losses, the struggles. Share that stuff in the group, because you may end up meeting somebody or having somebody in that room that can help you. And I'll be on the chat as well. I normally get on the chat like Tuesdays through Thursdays is the days that I'm most active. If y'all see me outside of that, it's like most times it's easy just to hit me on Instagram, and I normally can contact you back within an hour. So yeah. And then if you do hit me on Instagram, don't worry about typing. Just hit me a voice. Do the voice thing. It makes it easier. Just hit the voice thing. You said once these banks hit up, yes, please. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you, Deidre. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, everybody. Michaela. Thank you, everybody. Kenyatta always in the room. Shout out to Kenyatta. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Deidre. Thank you, Ricardo. I appreciate everybody for coming through, and we'll see you guys this week on your one-on-ones. Appreciate you guys.